Prime time. Neon Deion. The hype, the athleticism, the biggest moments, and the controversial, brash style that came with it all. Sanders played for multiple teams in his 14-year career and is regarded as one of the greatest professional and collegiate football players of all time. But just how good was Deion Sanders actually?
Let's go back and look, but we gotta really understand this.
Deion Lewin Sanders was born in Fort Myers, Florida, and immediately gravitated to sports. Surprisingly, Deion wasn't the best player on his 8-year-old football team, but one of his favorite childhood memories was winning a championship with that U8 team. Deion loved sports, and they loved him back, as he starred in 3 sports at North Myers High School. A lot of people don't know that Sanders got his nickname Primetime on the basketball court, and not from the gridiron. After a 30-point scoring downpour in one game, he earned the nickname that would be synonymous with Deion
niggas be capping in these videos. Is that facts or cap? Somebody let me know in the comments, man.
The rest of his life. Sanders dominated in football, basketball, and baseball. Named to the All-Century Florida High School football team his senior year, Deion was actually the starting quarterback for North Myers High, as well as being a defensive back. Sanders was recruited and offered scholarships in all 3 sports. Was even drafted to the MLB out of high school. The story goes that all recruiters had to see was Deion nearly hit his head on the rim in a basketball game to be sold on his athleticism. Sanders eventually chose
My boy was doing MJ dunk. yo.
Florida State University because it was the closest to his mother and because they were the only school that would let Sanders play as a freshman. It didn't take long before they found out what the best position for Deion was. It was all of them. As a freshman, Sanders made an impact on the baseball diamond and the football field. Legendary coach Bobby Bowden wasn't keen on playing freshmen, but couldn't keep Sanders' unique talents on the bench. He started in the secondary, but really captivated audiences returning punts. It was can't-miss TV if he could get his hands on the ball. As soon as the football season ended, he moved to the diamond, where he was an outfielder for the Knowles World Series team. While Deion was no longer playing basketball, he decided to take up track in the spring. Just as you imagine, he made an immediate impact there as well. By the end of his freshman year at FSU, he pulled up everywhere with a license plate reading Primetime and was telling the media to call him by the nickname as well. The legend of the fictional-sounding do-it-all athlete in Tallahassee grew bigger and bigger in the next 2 years. Sanders would play a baseball game, tear off his jersey, and run track in the same afternoon. He ran a 10.3 100-meter dash and would become an all-conference performer.
He was basically no, I ain't gonna say that. I'm about to compare him to God, but I ain't gonna do it, bro.
On the track. In '87, his prowess as the best cover player in the nation really took hold. He was a unanimous All-American at cornerback, shutting down the nation's best receivers, and was still a terror with the ball in his hands. In his first 3 seasons, he had 9 interceptions. With 1, he brought back 100 yards. Deion Sanders' senior year at FSU was one for the ages. His reputation as a cover corner paralleled the greatest to ever play. He picked off 5 more passes to become the all-time interceptions leader at Florida State. 2 of those were house calls, along with a punt return touchdown. After his pick in the Sugar Bowl to seal a win over Auburn, Sanders ran up to the cameras saying, "Bump the Thorpe, give me the Heisman." Sanders didn't win the Heisman, but he was a 2-time unanimous All-American and Jim Thorpe Award winner. Deion's pre-draft process isn't comparable to anybody before or after him. He showed up to the combine without warming up, ran 4.27 in the 40, then refused to do any more drills. Interview with the Giants, he stopped them mid-conversation to ask where their draft pick was. Unsatisfied with the response, Prime got up and told him we wouldn't be available at that spot, and promptly walked out. In a draft class,
It looked wet, but it was dry. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that's what they did Shador, like how they did Shador. Because Primetime was being who Primetime was, man. So they had a, you know what I'm saying, teach a lesson real quick. Like, y'all know, Plus
with a few other future Hall of Famers, Sanders' enigma and brash personality is probably the reason he fell to 5th slot, straight into the Atlanta Falcons' lap. But at first, it didn't feel like that for the Falcons. Sanders was set on playing in both the MLB and the NFL. Drafted by the Yankees while having contract issues with Atlanta, Sanders worked his way into the Yanks' starting lineup. In the truest primetime fashion, Sanders blasted a home run for the Yankees, then made his Falcons debut less than a day later. And what a debut it was.
So is Primetime the greatest athlete of all time? Like, who is let me know in the comments who y'all think is the greatest athlete. I'm talking about greatest athlete. They could have to play one sport or play a lot like Prime. Who y'all think?
I guess teams didn't learn from his college career, as Sanders returned his first punt return 66 yards for a touchdown. Sanders was only a professional for 1 week, and he had done something no one had ever done. Homered in the MLB and scored a touchdown in the NFL within a day's time. In all actuality, Deion's nickname should be Precedent Time. That doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well as Prime, but it does seem like every time you look over, Deion was doing something no one had ever done before. To make his schedule easier, Sanders signed with the Atlanta Braves in 1990, but it didn't take long before Sanders got tired of not being able to play in the baseball playoffs because the NFL season coincided. He manufactured his second deal to allow him to play both at the same time. In his first full postseason in baseball, Deion Sanders played outfield for the Braves in a World Series. All he did next was show up without any training camp and missing a quarter of the season to earn an All-Pro corner and a Pro Bowl punt returner nod. His time with the Falcons had come to an end when he scored 10 return touchdowns and was twice named the best cornerback in football. He signed with the 49ers next and had arguably the greatest year of his legendary career. He picked off 6 passes, 3 of which he scored on. On just those 6 interceptions, Prime set a still-standing interception return single-season mark at 303 yards. The most notable of those interceptions came on a 94-yard revenge pick against the Falcons.
Them Fuller boys ain't going down. They're going to the...
Deion stared down the Falcons' sidelines as he high-stepped into the end zone. Sanders and the 49ers won the NFC Championship, which led to another Prime first, being the only player to play in a World Series and a Super Bowl. Sanders ended up coming up with a fourth-quarter interception in the big game to win his first championship. All offseason, as Prime was playing baseball with the Reds, the media and the NFL were courting his services. While filming a commercial for a video game about himself, Deion had to dress up with 6 different team jerseys on because he didn't know what team he would eventually join. What became known as the infamous Deion sweepstakes was eventually won by America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. The deciding factor, the Cowboys allowed Deion to double as a wide receiver as well. So, in 1996, Deion Sanders was the first starting outfielder for the San Francisco Giants, the best cover corner in the world for the Dallas Cowboys, and he was the newest slot receiver for America's team. In 95, Deion helped the Cowboys win their last of 3 Super Bowls, capping off their dynasty. Winning back-to-back titles on 2 separate teams put Sanders into exclusive company, as it had only been done once before and has since been only done one more time. Now fully healthy, Sanders took on duties as a starting receiver as well. It shouldn't surprise anybody that Deion turned out to be a pretty good receiver. In his lone year, he caught 36 passes for 376 yards and a touchdown.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Prime might be the greatest NFL player ever, huh? Bro, he was out there winning Super Bowls on 2 teams. Don't matter what team I'm on winning it.
It shouldn't surprise anybody that Deion turned out to be a pretty good receiver. In his lone year, he caught 36 passes for 376 yards and a touchdown. He did all this while also being named to another All-Pro team as a corner. Deion played at an All-Pro level with the boys until 2000, when he signed a monster deal to become a Washington Redskin. But only 1 season into the 7-year deal, Sanders shocked the football world by retiring. But wait, his story doesn't end there. Deion was just built different, and his time with the Baltimore Ravens proved it more than any of his other All-Pro years. After 4 seasons away from football, Deion was convinced to come back and play for the Baltimore Ravens defense. When he came on the field, he looked like he hadn't missed a beat. Now donning the 37 jersey, which matched his age, Neon Deion played 2 more seasons in 04 and 05. One of those seasons was at corner, and the other at safety. He added 5 more interceptions and another touchdown before finally retiring. Deion's accolades would make Jim Thorpe blush. When he retired, his 19 return touchdowns were more than any player in history. Primetime is only one of 2 players to score a touchdown 6 different ways. It's really impossible to try and compare any other NFL player in history to Deion. There's just no one quite like him. Deion himself kind of summed up what it was like to watch him when he said, "Some people will come out to see me do well. Some people will come out to see me get run over. But love me or hate me, they're still gonna come out." So, there you have it. The incredible career of Deion Primetime Sanders. So, what do you guys...
I think he 1 or 2, bro. I can't put him, bro. He was Timothy, the best cornerback to ever do it, best defensive player to ever do it, best returner to ever do it, other than Devin Hester. Baseball World Series, bruh. Let me know in the comment what y'all think though, cause like, bruh, prime time.